So, I would like to revise my theory now after several hours of obsessively thinking about it while avoiding doing chores. And no, I forgot it.
Okay, you don't gotta go into what you went into before.
Okay.
When we did, this is a retake.
This is just something different.
Okay. Well, you were gonna say something about how you thought about it, about what we talked about.
Yes.
So the thing about the boomers, and you're like, no, their parents were that you were thinking
Oh,
of
right.
but it's not like your first take was wrong.
No, it just,
Because
I'm sure that did happen to some people, but it definitely wasn't the whole generation.
no,
That's
because there's all
just,
kinds of
yeah,
people who went to war.
there's lots of different traumas from the war depending on what the person
Yeah,
did. And
like white nationalists, white American nationalists are going to be different than immigrants who fought in World War II.
mm-hmm.
Like people from Eastern Europe, especially the Ukraine and Poland, where, is that ground zero for like Nazi, like the reach of the Nazis.
Yeah, I mean,
Like the
those,
biggest camps were in Poland, right?
yeah, Poland and Ukraine had some of the biggest Jewish casualties
Yeah, so
between Poland, Ukraine, and Russia.
and so like lots of American Jewish families, lived with that even though they weren't like there, you know, in Europe. Like, but that's like a whole other story for another time. But this is basically, you were talking, and I'm just trying to refresh your memory. So you were thinking about, the patriotic World War II vets
Oh, right. So
who were
the ones
yes,
who,
and like what they told their kids, like what their kids grew up
yeah,
and well, we don't know who those people are because
yeah.
that's not our family.
No, it's
Our
not.
family were the people who we were talking about. Like they just didn't talk about it at all and tried to
Yeah.
pretend like it didn't happen. And so the kids were like, oh, just absorbing all of the fault and all of the guilt, or just all the toxic stuff that comes from families who don't talk about their trauma. So.
Yeah, and then
So the swing side, so the opposite of that would be
would be the returning soldiers who they have their trauma fits and they get violent, and then instead of like just not talking about it, they then you know they claim that as their war wound, and then they say that that's their sacrifice
oh yeah, like
that
the
they made,
sacrifices they
and
made
that
for our freedom.
yeah, that this is what they suffered for the sake of their freedom, for the sake of the person they just abused, this freedom, and
Yeah,
that they need to be grateful that they're like this because of them.
yeah, and
To
my
protect them.
mom,
It's all to protect
like
you.
her dad was such a type, and she was so horribly abused, but she kept running away. You know, and the court like kept bringing her back, and she went to like a boarding school for bad kids, basically, because she kept running away from her very abusive dad. And that side of the family.
Mm-hmm. Also, side that you don't know
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, I don't
There's
know any.
no contact with that
Well, not
side.
from her mom, but her dad's side, and the people who went on to serve in the Vietnam War, and you know who.
Oh yeah, they
A
were all
June.
yeah, they were all. Were they a military family?
Yes, like all the
Ah,
way.
they were. A military family like that,
And so
especially.
I won't
Yeah.
tell you who, like, how they vote, but
Mm.
you know. And so I'm not surprised that my grandma, like, was bad talked and like had to just like run away from all of that
Mm-hmm.
because I know he abused her.
Mm.
And I just feel bad that that my mom had for a time had to live with him.
Yeah, I bet that was really like we were talking about that family crap. I bet you that he really like pursued getting custody of her back.